Megan Likes, and I'm so sad that I'm after the really cool marketing people because I'm an accountant, which means by nature I'm not very engaging. I don't really like people. I love numbers and not words. So I apologize in advance. Because I know that it's the end of a very long afternoon, I'm going to do this to you. If this clicker thing works, let's turn it on maybe. Yeah, I'm going to ask you to stand up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, take a little stretch. All right. Shake it. And we're going to get friendly. So I'm going to have you put your hands together.
All the way across?
And now I'm from California. I want you to interlock your fingers. All right, actually, guys, I meant interlock your fingers. I don't know where you all are from, but interlock your own fingers. I'm serious. Do it. Everybody do it. I'm going to check you. Sir, back there. Yeah, thank you. Calm down. Okay, now I want you to look down. What thumb's on top?
Right.
Kind of a rhetorical question, but yeah, thanks. Okay, now I want you to do me a favor. Unclasp your hands, make the other one go on top. How does that feel? Weird, huh? Pretty weird. All right, I'm going to shake things up over the next hour because I'm an accountant and I'm also a millennial, so we're going to hack your expenses. Now, a fun fact, if your left thumb is on top, typically you're a spender. Oh, yeah. Typically you're a saver. All right, you all can sit down. Your mind. All right. So my name is Megan Likes. I'm a CPA. I am the founder of Bookkeeping Academy Online. Both of my parents are public school teachers. I've been teaching small business owners how to do their own bookkeeping for the past 15 years in my office. I've been doing it online for the past year, and this is my very first day doing it live in a classroom. My parents would be so stinking proud of you guys, so please don't fall asleep. If you do, I am going to call you out. Throw an paper up there or something. All right, so I've taught university workshops that were to students, which were small business owners, and Chamber of Commerce presentations, but not usually about accounting. And I was interviewed on ABC, but that was just with a camera. So I also own an accounting firm. So I do full service bookkeeping, payroll, tax, and consulting for small businesses only in Davis, California, and my company is called Likes Accounting Company. But probably the most interesting thing about me is I'm the co-owner of Jeff Likes Clean Windows and Gutters in Northern California. That's Jeff over there. He actually does really love clean windows. And this is photographic evidence of the only time in my life I've washed a window. Aren't I cute? No, I'm just kidding. Jeff taught me how to wash windows, and thanks to Debbie, I'm hoping we're going to be able to train some other people how to do it. It was about 15 minutes, and there is a video that we will not show you of him showing you how to wash the windows. All right, I got really ambitious with your outlines, so I apologize. If you don't want to write in all those answers, I won't hold it against you. This is a link to a site where you can sign up for a recording of this. I think Jeff has 2 cameras planted around the room where we're recording this, and we will send it to you. So if you don't want to scribble, which will keep you awake if you scribble and you'll remember better, you can go to that website and sign up for a recording. All right, and then I love spoilers. So, can you go back to that slide real quick? Yeah, and I'm going to show it at the end too. Grab a picture. All right, so spoilers. I think my thing says that we're going to save hundreds of dollars, and I did the math, and it's $12,380. So that's how much I'm going to show you how to save in the next hour. And I love math, so we're going to just do it. Okay, and Martha told me that you guys didn't want the simple stuff. That you are sophisticated business owners who have employees who wanted things that were a little higher level. So I tried to really tailor this to you in mind. I love service-based businesses. I particularly love cleaning service-based businesses. I really understand window washing businesses. So we're gonna save $12,380. So where are we gonna start? There's a couple of different options, but the first one, you showed up, right? You're in this room for a reason. You made it all the way down to sunny San Diego, even though it's freezing. So let's see, we're gonna begin with the end in mind. So I want you to just take a minute, close your eyes, and I want you to think about what you would do with $12,380 this year.
Raise my thumb, spend it.
Yeah, okay, so let's think about that. Somebody today said they were gonna buy a boat with the money they were gonna save from this class, because they were looking at those beautiful boats out there. Maybe you're gonna take your staff on a trip to the zoo. That was so cool, Trevor. Like, my husband is always looking for things to do with his staff. And zip lining, he was like, yeah, that's our next one. Let's do that. Or maybe you're gonna pay yourself a little bit. I've had a couple conversations with you who are really struggling to pay yourself. Probably the third thing that I'm asked in my office on a daily basis is how much can I afford to pay myself? All right, so everybody have in mind what they're gonna do with their $12,380? All right, so we're gonna get started. This is where the scribbles begin. So I have to keep my notes so I can stay on task. So first thing you're gonna do, this is the low-hanging fruit, the easiest one. You're gonna go home, you're gonna print out 12 months of your bank and credit card statements. And I run a paperless office, I take notes on an iPad, but I want you to print them out. Okay? Then I want you to grab a red pen. If it's a green pen or a purple pen, that's fine, but I want you to grab the colored pen, and we're gonna start marking up those bank and credit card statements. And what we're looking for is anything that isn't absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary to running your business. Now, we're gonna try and save $12,380 during this next hour, so you've got to be really diligent about lining these things out. So easy things to look at, and you can circle these, are redundant or replaceable things. So maybe there's been an advertising avenue that they have your credit card, they're charging you every month. You've been thinking about canceling it, but you can't really be bothered to find the invoice or find the phone number. Maybe there's a software solution that you've heard about that you know does essentially what yours does, but it's less expensive. Maybe it's calling your cable provider and getting a discount on your internet. These are the kinds of things we're going to think through. And Jeff and I actually did this exercise. I think we did it on a train in London, literally, where we had free time and we were in the same place together, neither of us on our computers. And when we did it, we came up with $675 a month. And you know you all have it, right? You've given your credit card information, you've given your bank account information. It's $20 here, $40 there, $120 there. Start lining them out. I did it for my accounting company. It was several $100s. I actually gave that sheet to my secretary and I said, you know all my passwords, can you just cancel these things? If you need them, you can add them back later, but just start lining them out. Get rid of them. Get them out of your bank account. That's your money, your hard-earned money, and you're not using them. Or maybe there's another thing you can do. All right, you multiply $675 a month by 12 months, we end up with $8,100. We just went pretty far. And Jeff, how long do you think that took us? Like an hour?
Yes.
Not even? Yeah.
You're on a subway or a train in London from one stop to the other.
Now, don't ask Jeff how long it took him to finish canceling them all. He wasn't quite as efficient as my secretary. He could probably pull up a note document where there's one or two that haven't quite been canceled, but they're on his list. Every time it comes out, it's like, oh yeah, gotta cancel that one. All right, so that's the first one. Now I'm gonna get up on my soapbox. I'm gonna do that a couple times for the next hour. And we're gonna talk about bookkeeping software. And I've had some pretty intense conversations. I'm not looking at you, Stephanie, I promise. Pretty intense conversations about bookkeeping software this weekend. Yeah, I'm not looking at you either, DJ. All right, so I love QuickBooks. I love it. I geek out about it. I teach people how to use it. I create an entire business around it. And if we're gonna be specific, I love QuickBooks Online. And Martha told me you're sophisticated business owners. So we should not be doing files with receipts anymore. Not gonna look at anybody directly. We should not be doing Excel spreadsheets with 4 different steps with room for human error anymore. Like, it is time to take this seriously. We are business owners. All right, so you can save $360 a year, $30 a month, by doing one very simple thing, and that is by calling your accountant. And everybody in this room should have an accountant. We should not be doing our own taxes. The tax code just like tripled in work. In California, I have to do double the amount of work for every single one of my tax clients. So you should all have an accountant. Call your accountant. Tell them that I said that they could get you $360 back a year. And what that is they get a discount. Every accountant gets a discount on QuickBooks. And they should be translating that on to you. They're very valued clients. I want you to use QuickBooks. That makes my life better and happier. So I translate that discount onto all of my clients. 50% discount, and that's on your QuickBooks Online subscription.
And that's for a lifetime, right?
That's for the lifetime. So we're only talking about 1 year. But we're all gonna be in business 10 years from now, right? So we could factor this out. I just didn't, that's a lot more math, and that seemed kind of complicated. All right, now we're gonna do the thing where I got the ugly picture of the really old computer. I'm gonna tell you, all right, if you're using desktop, there's also a secret, and it's called Costco. Everybody know what Costco is? All right, Costco can get you the best deal on QuickBooks Desktop around. Better than your accountant, better than me, better than Intuit, and they can save you at least $100. So if every 3 years you need to go to get a new desktop file, you can go to Costco, pick it up the cheapest around. But I can't have that without asking you why the heck are you still using desktop? Now here's the soapbox, because I'm going to tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't be. It costs you more money. It costs you more money with my time. So my billing rate as a CPA is $220 an hour. If you send me a QuickBooks Desktop file with a password, usually has 2, I've got to download it to my computer, got to find the password with the email. My timer's going the whole time. Then I've got to try and type it in, hope I type it in right the first time. Then I've got to convert it. Then I've got to re-download it. Then I've got to do all my stuff, which is figuring out whatever you've done, and I don't have any of the data or any of the audit logs. Then I've got to make all my changes. Then I've got to resave it, and I've got to do the whole exercise again to give it back to you. On average, I'd say that takes me almost an hour, $220, just of playing with the technology. That says nothing about what you've done in that QuickBooks file. Also, we had a really terrible story where somebody's computer crashed, and they had to go buy a new computer. And it costs several $100s because QuickBooks is glitchy. Desktop version is glitchy. When you are making backup files or accountant version files, that costs money if it goes bad. Or I was just helping a CPA last week. He had spent 25 hours on a client file. Can you imagine 25 hours at 200? And he's a lot older than me, so his billing rate is probably like $350. 25 hours working on this file, and it got corrupted. And he lost it. And I was trying to help him restore it, and he had to charge his client because it was kind of their fault for being in the desktop world, and it got corrupted when they were transferring it back to the client's computer. The client's computer didn't crash, but we lost all that work. Now, it always goes faster the second time that we have to redo things, but if you are in QuickBooks Online, that's being restored all the time. It's saved on your servers. And now my last thing on the QuickBooks Online, we are in the mobile cleaning service industry, right? We are mobile. So if you're still doing your estimates or invoices with QuickBooks, you probably need the online version so that more than one person can see them. My husband and I travel a lot. I'm really proud of the fact that last year I traveled for 18 weeks out of the year. I could not do that if I was using QuickBooks Desktop for all my client files. QuickBooks Online gives us freedom, just like everything else is giving us freedom. So move to online, getting off the soapbox. But $8,100, that's what we saved in the first step. Second step, $360 the first year, $8,460. And that discount, that translates on for the life of your subscription. We're going to be in business so long. All right, payroll processing. Now this one, I'm not an accountant, I'm a small business owner, because what I'm going to say is not a typical accounting thing. So I'm wondering how much you're paying for your payroll services a month. Hopefully you know. Also, hopefully you are not using Paychex and you are not using ADP. As a CPA, I am supposed to be best friends with Paychex and ADP. They bring me pie, they bring me lunch, they bring me coffee. They want my business, but they screwed my husband's company 3 years ago. $5,000. Really good salesperson, terrible service. They are very expensive. Interestingly, this is an expense saving hack that I didn't add up in my calculator. If you call Paychex, it's like Comcast. And Kurt, this is so awesome because it's like you. You say, I heard from this account that you guys could give me a better deal on my thing. They'll give you more than half off by calling them. So if you're using Paychex right now and you don't want to switch, call them. It's like Comcast and they'll give you a deal. But like Comcast, it will only last for 1 year. You have to call them back again in a year. So I would just recommend getting away from that world. If you get away from that world, you will save at least $600 in that first year. And I'm going to give you 3 solutions that you can use instead. First one is the one that I use for Jeff's business, and it's called Intuit Online Payroll. Intuit is the maker of QuickBooks and TurboTax and everything accounting. So Intuit Online Payroll. The next one's called Gusto. Gusto is really shiny and pretty, and actually they'll do free implementation. So they will set it up for you when you move away from the bad guys. And the last one is QuickBooks Online Payroll. Now, QuickBooks Online Payroll is my least favorite because it will mess up your QuickBooks file. And my job up here is to make your life easier, not harder. And I want your QuickBooks file to stay really, really clean. That's our goal.
Which one's best?
Intuit Online Payroll, Gusto, your choice. They're about the same price too. And your accountant can get you a discount on both of those. So they can give you less than whatever you see when you log into the website. Your accountant should be sharing these discounts with you because we're small business owners. We're working really hard to make money, and I want you guys to work really hard to keep it, right? Stop giving it away to the big companies. We want to keep it for ourselves. I threw this in at the last minute. Direct deposit. This is like inspired a little bit by Debbie's theories and Kurt's theories and Mike's theories, but time is money. If you are spending time writing out paper checks or printing out checks and signing them and then mailing them and paying for the envelopes, stop doing that. Direct deposit. All of those services I mentioned, they offer direct deposit for free. You will save a significant amount of time by paying your employees via direct deposit. Also, I just wanted to mention time tracking. So we live in California. We run a service-based cleaning business in California. We have some really interesting situations when we lose our employees. We get sued a lot. It's not fun. I cannot believe that you've never had a workers' comp claim or you've never had a litigation claim. Like, that's amazing. I want to be you when I grow up. That is not our reality.
I've gone through that.
Okay.
Many hundreds of them. You just don't have them now.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so we're going to be you next year, or maybe the year after. That's our goal. But we found some really cool time tracking solutions. That the number one reason we got sued was because they had a late lunch, they missed a break, they didn't get a break, or overtime. All of those things can be solved by time tracking software. So now Jeff is big brother. He watches all of his people, and they take selfies to clock in the morning. And it has facial recognition that makes sure it's them and not their buddy. Okay? Then they take a selfie when they clock out for their first break. Then they take a selfie when they clock back in for a break. This is done through T-Sheets. Every selfie is geo-tracked to their location. So they're not going to take a selfie from their house. They're not going to take a selfie from the McDonald's. They're taking selfies from wherever they're supposed to be according to their set schedule. Now, it's not cheap. It's $4 an employee a month. And it's a heck of a lot cheaper than our attorney fees. So the other two that I wanted to mention, before that we use Intuit Online Payroll time tracking, $2 an employee, but it was, I think we spent like, $14,000 on attorneys last year. We've never lost a lawsuit. We've never technically been wrong, but it's really expensive to defend yourself. So I'd like employers to be thinking about ways that they can protect themselves. And I have to give you the caveat that I'm an accountant, not an attorney. But attorneys are way more expensive than accountants. And the last one I wanted to mention was Clockshark. Clockshark's $5 an employee a month, but also has some cool technology. So those are my 3 time tracking apps that I recommend. Okay, so I think we were on payroll, so we said $600 is how much we're saving. So we're already over the $9,000 mark. And I can almost guarantee you that any of those solutions are going to be easier and cheaper than what you're doing right now. Company retirement plan. How many people are offering a company retirement plan? Oh, that's more than I thought. That's fantastic. All right, the others that aren't offering one is Cost a Factor. Knowledge? Cost, yeah, I'm gonna blow your mind. So exciting. So 401k is the number one company retirement plan that we talked about, but they're really expensive to set up. You go to Paychex, I call them the bag. If you go to bag days, sorry for anybody who's employed by Paychex, but not really, just come work for me. No. Okay, so 401k is the shiniest one. And the average 401k costs $2,500 to set up through Paychex. And it costs about $50 a month, maybe even per employee to administer it, to keep track of all the rules, make sure you're doing it all correctly. So I found a solution. Oh, I'm going off script here. So if you're paying more than $8 a month per employee per month, then I want you to check out Guideline 401k. And I know we're scribbling. With that bit.ly that I gave you, I can also send you the links to all these things I'm recommending. That way you guys don't have to track them down later. So all you have to do is sign up on that bit.ly. But Guideline 401k, they'll actually set up a 401k plan for $500. And that's a really good benefit, especially when we're sitting in really, really low unemployment. We're trying to compete with, what was McDonald's paying in Denver?
It was 17.
Yeah, we're trying to, and McDonald's, I bet, has a retirement plan. So that's who we're competing with. And our job for window washing, I'm sure cleaning too, Debbie said it was a great workout. Like, it's hard work. So you want to think of ways that you can attract employees to make yourself different, to value them, to help them plan for their future. So you can set up a retirement plan for $500. And this solution integrates with any of those payroll providers I mentioned. That's another thing I love. These payroll providers, they integrate with your QuickBooks file. They integrate with your retirement plan, saving you time, saving you money. There are also cheaper retirement plan options, cheaper than a $500 setup or $8 an employee a month. And my favorite two are a simple plan and a SEP IRA. Now the problem with both of those is they're less flexible. So what you do for yourself if you're an employee, or what you do for your favorite employee, has to be the same for all employees. A 401k, we have some more flexibility with what percentage you have to do for who, how long they have to have worked for you. I can use my accounting geek language like vesting periods and their 5,500 tax returns. So there are simpler options that are called a SEP IRA or a simple IRA. I think those are as cheap as $40 a year to set up.
SEP IRA?
S-E-P. I don't love that one when we have a lot of employees, unless you're really, really profitable and generous. But simples are great. Simples are great. Okay, so the 401k plan, so there are only probably about 30% of you that currently offer one, but if you switch to something like Guideline, I think you would save $1,200 a year. And we're not talking about your setup fee. So now we just broke the $10,000 mark. And your employees are gonna be happier. They're gonna stay with you longer. For us, and I think in maid service too, it's back-breaking work. They're not gonna be able to work forever. We need to be thinking about what's their exit plan? How are they gonna retire? We love career employees. We love career window washers. So this is one way to help them plan for their future. All right, I feel like this one always gets me in trouble because I'm a conservative accountant, and I am going to be an accountant in this one. I'm going to be a tax accountant. Mileage is the number one thing that I see my clients get audited for. Number one. So I'm going to show you some ways. I am personally not afraid of audits. All of my clients are set up so that if they get audited, it's just a bad luck, bad day. The average audit rate is 0.6% of all returns. It's going to happen randomly, but I don't want my clients to be afraid of it. I don't want them to not deduct something that they're eligible for because they're terrified of getting audited. What I want to do instead is educate them about what the rules are and how they would stand up in an audit. So for mileage tracking, I'm wondering first if you're tracking your mileage. And I hear in my office a lot when it's a brand new client, they'll say, oh, my accountant does that for me. If you're one of those people, your accountant is not on the hook for your penalties and interest when you get audited and they were wrong because they came up with a number. So there's some tools. If you've talked to me at all, you probably know that I talk about my husband who does not use a computer, but runs a very successful window washing business. You can track mileage without the clipboard, without the pencil, without the spreadsheet. You can track mileage now with apps. So my favorite mileage tracking app is MileBug. There's a free version, and I think the paid version is like $1.99 in the App Store. You should be using this. Now, if you have, I feel like I've heard some different things about cleaning service, if we're using our vehicle or other people's vehicles. But regardless, we should be tracking mileage, we should be keeping a record. I'm an accountant who loves QuickBooks and I also love spreadsheets. MileBug will generate a spreadsheet for your account. So you interface with a pretty app that remembers your odometer readings. It can look at your GPS tracker and tell you where you were and how far you went and how long that took. It makes it really easy. The hardest part is starting the habit. Yeah.
What about if you have company cars at the office?
So technically still should be tracking some mileage. At a bare minimum, I'd like you to go out in January, it's February, go now, and write down your odometer reading. End of the year, write it down again.
Sorry.
That's right.
We were in an Uber and I asked someone if that was their compass and they won't let me. That did make the cutest website.
It does sound like a compass. All right, let's see. So the IRS says that by tracking your mileage, you could save $600 a year on your taxes just by tracking it. If you have multiple vehicles, we're talking about a major multiple of this. Jeff's mileage deduction on his tax return is significantly more than $600. But I don't want you to take that deduction unless you've got the documentation to back it up. So simple app, very inexpensive, easy habit to get into. All right, so we're going to add $600, and we're at $10,860, and it's super simple to start. You could all download the app here. The hard part is the habit. All right, now we're going to talk about the home office. Another one of those, and a lot of people come to my office and they'll say, oh, my accountant said I can't deduct my home office because it's a red flag for an audit.
$600.
I hate those accountants that tell you can't do something that you're allowed to do because it's going to flag you for an audit. What else are you doing that you're afraid of the audit for, right? Okay, so do you ever work from home? Pretty sure if I asked you to raise your hands, how many work from home? Let's see. Yeah. We are entrepreneurs. We're self-employed individuals. We work practically all the time, right? We work from home. All right, do you have a separate home office that is used regularly and exclusively for work? Now this is a trick question because do you see this really pretty home office here? There's something kind of funky about it. Does anybody know what that is?
It's a dining room.
It's a dining room table. So if you get audited, the auditor comes into your house and they see that that's your dining room, they're going to ask you, well, where do you eat with your family? You're going to say the couch.
McDonald's.
You're going to say the kitchen over the sink. You're going to say, well, you have 4 kids. Really? You never eat at this dining room table? Not even on Thanksgiving? It's a really hard thing to stand up in an audit. So regularly and exclusively, you want to turn your dining room into an office, get it a desk, and get rid of the 3 chairs along the back there, okay? All right, so where were we? So this is a really low number. But if you have a home office that's used regularly and exclusively for work, you could save at least $200 on your tax return this year. Well, on taxes by deducting it. These fill loans were not a very good idea. I won't do that next year. Okay, and then you can keep it simple. So in 2013, the IRS changed the rules. Another reason that people say their accountants don't let them deduct their home office is because they have to use, we're going to use fancy accounting words again, they have to depreciate it, then they have to recapture the depreciation when they sell it, and then it's going to screw up their capital gains calculation. Okay, enough of that. Keep it simple. 2013, the IRS said you only need 2 numbers to deduct a home office on your tax return, assuming it's used regularly and exclusively for work. Those 2 numbers are the square footage of your home office and the square footage of your home. Everybody can find the square footage of their home on Zillow. And I hope you all have a measure. Or Jeff has a wheel. You wheel things, okay, yeah. So you can keep it simple. It doesn't take a lot of work. Okay. So we're going to do the low number. If you have a bigger home office with a smaller house, remember regularly and exclusively. I had a client once send me the plans, and it was like he had highlighted the closet and another closet, and he was like, no, man, really, there's a desk in there. No clothes, no games, just a desk. No, regularly and exclusively, at least $200. So now we're at $11,000. And I bet you're already using it, right? We're already working from home. You could probably
No
find
years.
an area in your house that's used regularly specifically for work.
That's how much she's saved in a year so far by doing these things.
All right, so now we're gonna separate our transactions because we're all sophisticated business owners, right? So I feel like I don't even need this section, but I've gotta use this section, okay? So, do you have a separate account for business and personal? All right, that should be like a really loud, hell yes, we do, right? Like, yeah, okay. I'm gonna tell you why. You could save hundreds of dollars on your tax preparation fees. That would pay for the accountant that you haven't yet hired, right? You could save hundreds of dollars just by separating business from personal because it's nice and clean. They can find, so number one thing that people get audited for is mileage. Number one thing that the auditor looks at after they've asked for the mileage log is all your bank statements. They add up all the deposits. If you have a separate business account, that's a really easy number to double check. Another reason why you don't have to be afraid of getting audited. So hundreds of dollars on tax preparation fees and on taxes. Because how many times do you accidentally use the wrong personal credit card to cover a big business expense because you're running a little low on cash in your business? And then 10 months from then,
Mixing
or
business and
15 months from
personal.
then, you forget. You don't remember. You didn't reimburse yourself. You didn't run it through the right account. You gotta keep it separate and you gotta stick to it. Business account, business transactions. Personal account, personal transactions. When you want to pay yourself from the business, if you're a sole proprietor, you make a transfer. You don't pay the Disneyland ticket fees from your business account. Unless you're Trevor and you're taking your staff to Disneyland. Then go ahead, you can do that. All right, you could save hundreds on accounting fees, taxes, just by separating them. All right, now we're gonna kind of be a little bit of a spoiler for tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm gonna be up here again talking about profitability. But I hope that you have a separate bank account for your income and your expenses. This is the profit first method. And when Jeff implemented that last year, I said, we're not doing that. I'm an accountant, I do bookkeeping for businesses. I charge bookkeeping by the number of accounts. I feel like I would be not doing a fiduciary responsibility to my clients if I told them, go open 5 bank accounts or 2 extra bank accounts, and then I'm gonna charge you more of my bookkeeping fees. And Jeff said, but this book, you know, we read about it, we've heard about it, let's listen to it. We listened to it on a road trip, profit first. Let's just try it. His bookkeeping fees are free. He pays me and kisses on the cheek, right? Let's just try it, see what happens. You know what happened? Tens of thousands of dollars of savings. What we did was, oh, I gotta go through this, hang on. So having a separate bank account builds business savings and can earn you interest. Separating your income and expenses could save you thousands of dollars per year, but you have to stick to it, you have to keep doing it. And what we're doing is we're
Going
saving
way too fast.
us from ourselves. When you separate your income and your expenses, you have to make a transfer from your hard-earned income to pay your expenses, you're suddenly way more aware of those expenses. You feel that, because you have to make a choice about whether that income is going to go to your pocket or to your vendors, right? Okay, so this one, I was going through this with my teacher last night, and she's like, why are you only saying $1,000? Because for us, it was literally tens of thousands of dollars. And I said, well, we're going to be conservative. We're just going to, you got to start small. Hopefully you're running a profitable business, but if you're not, no judgment. Because Jeff and I, it took us a couple of years to figure that out. My accounting company, first year was not profitable. Sometimes you have to invest. Sometimes you have to work hard. But I'm going to use the $1,000 number, and then we saved $200 on our accounting fees. So $1,200. Now we're at the 12,000 mark. And this last one seems small, but I told you I was going to help you save some money, and so the last one is your bank fees. So are you still paying bank fees? And if you are, I gotta ask why. Why are we still paying bank fees? Most banks not only offer free business checking accounts, they will literally give you cash rewards for signing up for an account. So if you're still paying bank fees, you might be at the wrong bank. Changing your bank could save you, seems like a small dollar after everything else, $120, but I just told you should go open at least 1 new checking account. So while you're opening that checking account, if you are paying bank fees, you can open 2 new checking accounts. It's about the same amount of work. And you know what happens when you have to open a new account to pay your expenses? all those recurring transactions that you didn't need that we started with in step 1, they don't go through anymore. That's like a natural way of canceling them, right? You should call and cancel. That's better ethics. But call and cancel. But if you close your account, well, no, they'll pound you and they'll send you collections and it's a pain. And Jeff, I think, is still fighting with 2 of the recurring payments that haven't quite been cleaned up, and it's been many months. But you can change your bank account. It's a great reminder. It will help you catch the things that you didn't catch in step 1 when you were going through with the red pen.
Get all the answers for the questions.
All right, so we did it. We got all the way up to the $12,380. That last one, changing your account, it hurts. It takes a long time. It's a lot more work than canceling a transaction. You've got to change just about everything, but it's worth it. It's really, really worth it. And we did it. We saved $12,380. That's pretty cool, huh? All right, but you're not done yet. We're not there. So we gotta decrease our expenses. We're gonna increase our profits, and we're gonna do it again, over and over again. Because things, I guarantee you, since we sat on that train, which is probably in July or August, there have been some things that snuck through. So we probably need to go back in and do it again with the red pen. Hopefully there's fewer this time, but it will seem like, especially when we, it seemed like this is a great idea. We really need this. And then you don't really need it. You don't really need it. Okay, so we're going to go over these again. So we're going to review our current expenses with the red pen. We're going to get a discount on our QuickBooks. We're going to switch to QuickBooks Online and stop using desktop. We're going to change our payroll provider, or at least our payroll service. We're going to save time and money. We're going to review company retirement plans. If we don't have one yet, we now know that we can probably afford to set one up. $40 a year for a simple plan. We can probably all afford that to add it as a benefit to our employee package. We're going to track our mileage. We know that that is a way that we will get caught in an audit. We're going to deduct our home office if it's used regularly and exclusively. We're not going to overcomplicate it, even if it's just the $200 of a deduction we're going to take. We're going to separate our business from our personal if we're not doing that yet. Or if you've slipped, and occasionally, because you're running short on cash, it is winter. So in our industry, we slow down in the winter. If you've been swiping things on your personal credit card, you're going to stop doing that. You're going to keep it separate. Business, personal, even when it comes to credit cards. You're going to review your bank fees. If you're still paying bank fees, you're going to stop doing that. You're going to get to that $12,380. So now it's your turn. I don't want this to be another session where we talked and I use my big accounting speak. So in your book, I do want you to write it down. And you're going to write down the 3 things you're going to go home and do. So maybe it's 3 subscriptions you're going to cancel. Maybe it's a call to your accountant. I hope it's a call to your accountant. Write down the 3 things you're going to do. Yeah.
I have a question. So with Profit First, I read that book, but I felt like with physically moving everything, it was just going to be an accounting nightmare.
I thought that too as an accountant. I was like, hell no, we're not doing that. No, it's amazing. It's so, like.
So I just need to tell my accountant I'm going to do it and try to get her on board.
No, you're just going to do it. And then you're going to find an
My
accountant.
bookkeeper too, like.
Well, try and get her on board. Profit First, there are Profit First professionals. You can go to profitfirstprofessionals.com. I am not a Profit First professional. I do not pay $5,000 a year in dues to them. That's how much it costs. But the Profit First professionals, they're really good. So go find one.
Where can you find them?
You can go to their website, Profit First Professionals. They can find a bookkeeper. You can find a tax accountant. You can find the people that subscribe to these methods. And if your accountants aren't on board, and sorry, Stacey, I'm looking at you. But if your accountants aren't on board, then go find a new accountant. And I recommend you talk to at least 3. You want to make sure that they are speaking your language, that they understand your business, and that they're going to take you seriously. And if you read Profit First and you say, this is what I want to do for my business, then you need to find an accountant that's going to get on board with that. And I get it because I was very reluctant, but then I saw it, and I'm like, okay, it's worth it. Yes, ma'am. Oh, the gal right next to you, sorry. Yeah, she had her hand up for a little bit. Yeah, in the corner.
I became an LLC as corp last February, and I have QuickBooks Online, and I had to change over to another QuickBooks because it was an LLC then. And now I have 2 QuickBooks Online accounts. What do I do about that? And somebody said, put it into a Excel spreadsheet and then put it into the other, but I can't do that. It's separate, right?
Okay, let's go back to the first thing. You're an LLC S Corp.
Yes.
So you're an LLC who's taxed as an S Corp?
Yes.
Why?
Because that's what my accountant told me to do.
Okay. So I would say call your accountant and ask them what they want you to do with that S that they just created. Okay, go ahead, Samantha, sorry.
Changing bank accounts,
Yeah, I don't have any hacks for
we
that.
have to do that at the end of the month.
Anyway, you do?
Do we have to do it at the end of the month versus like the middle of the month? Like I hate waiting because I keep thinking I'm gonna wait till the first of the month and then I forget and it doesn't get done.
Jeff, it took us like what, 4 months to close that old bank account?
Yeah,
Maybe
I
longer.
don't think
You keep it open for a while. You gotta catch those transactions. And every month there are fewer transactions, but it's not gonna be a clean break. You're not gonna be able to open a new account and close the old one on the same day. And I don't think that would work. Or at least it wouldn't work in our business. But we did it actually. That's good.
Do you have anything else bad to say about ADP? Because they match Gusto's price for me, and they don't make me call them.
That's good. So in my industry, it's really interesting. So as a CPA with an accounting practice, like an actual door where people walk in and out, we used to joke that the ADP techs, they would change more, like by the time we got a new rep that introduced himself, they had another one. Like they'd be like, oh, I just started, I don't have my cards, but I'll bring them by in a couple weeks. In a couple weeks, a new rep would come in and be like, oh, I just started, I don't have my cards. And after like a year of that, I was like, this must be a horrible company to work for.
Yeah,
And I
that's
don't know,
accurate.
I don't know if that's true, but for me as a small business owner, and I'm calling somebody with my payroll, I don't want them changing over every 2 months.
Yeah.
So they may be meeting your prices, and they may be offering good product. I don't have a single client that uses ADP. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. What?
I said Gusto is so much better.
And Gusto, if you have more than 4 employees, will implement for free.
Yeah, and
for
well, and it's
free.
like the onboarding and like.
So good.
And it's pretty.
It's
They have a
just so
cute
much
little
better.
like piggy, and he dances while you're waiting.
Yeah.
And my staff will be like, come and look at this. Look at what the pig's doing.
And they're really helpful. Like every time I call them, they're super nice and like always are helpful. So
Now,
it's really good.
now,
birthdays and anniversaries.
Now, full disclosure, because I'm an accountant, I feel like I always get the bad stuff. So when we tried to set Jeff up with Gusto, it did not work out very well. So, but I'm incredibly picky. So we use something that works, and we use one where, like, I'm glad you had good customer service experience. I have a couple of clients on Gusto. Your accountant can get you a discount for Gusto on your monthly bill. I have many clients on Gusto. Their experiences were better than mine. For us, I don't know if it was the number of employees or if it was the T-Sheets integrations. I feel like we're not that complicated for payroll, but we had a little bit of trouble with Gusto.
I have one more question.
Yeah,
How do you feel about Zero?
I don't know very much about it.
Okay.
I mean, they're
So,
not gonna catch that part.
I got really scared because I have a favorite product, which isn't in this because it's not really a cost savings. It's actually an extra cost, but it is a time savings, so I'll mention it. It's called HubDocs. So has anybody heard of HubDocs?
We use it, yeah, I love it.
It's amazing.
I've already just sent my Uber receipt, everything, I just sent it out.
I love it. So Jeff, we're going paperless with Jeff's company now after the banker's boxes and the banker's boxes of receipts. So HubDocs got bought by Xero.
Yeah.
And I got really freaked out, and I was like, uh-oh. All of my eggs are in the Intuit basket. I use it for tax software, I use it for payroll software, I use it for bookkeeping software, and I was like, what if Xero is going to get into it? And I went the wrong way. I don't think it is. QuickBooks says they're actually going to create a HubDocs. That's what Intuit says. So what HubDocs is it will actually auto-retrieve your bank statements every month. It files them for you. All your check copies every month, it files them for you. You take pictures of your receipts from an app. It puts it attached to your QuickBooks transaction for you. This is like mind-blowing AI. It costs $20 a month. And that's how you become bulletproof for an audit. You say, yeah, here's my QuickBooks file. Every transaction in there, the receipt is attached. HubDocs did that for me. $20 a month. Jeff and I, we're trying to redo our home office so that I can work in it at night instead of working in my office till 11 p.m. during tax season. And we set up all of our bills on HubDocs. That way we don't do any filing anymore. No more paper at the house.
Personal too?
Personal, both, yeah, everything.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Mileage tracking.
yeah.
USC,
I'm one of
that's
those bad people that doesn't match.
Okay.
Anyways, you don't need to know.
Can I reform
The
you?
IRS doesn't need to know that. No, I'm going to. I'm working on it.
Okay.
But if they say I got audited, what are they trying to match up exactly?
So here's what they do. Perfect. Here's what they do. They ask for your mileage log. You don't have one. So you make one, right? Yeah. No.
I just used
it's-
a mileage
it's-
app last year, so I could probably
Yeah, but
piece it
but
together.
here's the real talk. You don't have one, so you make one. And they
Yes.
say, great, thank you for this mileage log. That's fantastic. Now I would like your oil change receipts
Okay.
for each vehicle. So you go get your oil change receipts. Guess what's on your oil change receipts?
Mileage.
Your odometer readings.
I have my freaking oil change receipts.
And that's it. And you know what the IRS says to that? Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were running a business. No deduction, and then they take it off. Because for them, it's so easy to just say, well, disallowed, no deduction. So your oil change receipts are the way they double check you, which is why I said, when they're sleeping overnight, at least write down your odometers. So if, hypothetically, we forgot to track our mileage during the year, and if hypothetically we had to recreate that,
That's what I do. That's my version.
Yeah.
And another business owner taught me this years ago, and it's really terrible.
I love it when business owners teach other business owners.
I know.
their own taxes. It's like my favorite thing ever.
In my defense, I was like 21. I was like, that's a good idea, but now I'm 31 and I haven't changed. So yeah, no, I take a snapshot of my mileage in January and then again the next January, and then I'm like, if I get audited, I'll just make something up.
We did get burned a couple of years ago, so we always said,
Honest at least, right?
I have some clients where we have to have that chat. And I say,
I'm not
at a minimum, do that for them. And then you have a calendar, right? We all have calendars. 1 second, I'll get right to you.
So I can record you.
Yeah, nobody from the IRS in this room, right? No. We all have calendars, right?
Yeah.
And I had a client who was like, they did the thing with the odometer reading at the beginning of the year. And they're like, I'll just go back to my calendar, reconstruct it.
Yeah.
Google Calendar archives all of your stuff after a year. Guess how long the audit period is? 3 years.
Yeah.
Guess how long I make Jeff keep all of his receipts? 7 years. You can do it digitally now. Digital space is super cheap. HubDocs, best friend ever. No more files, no more paper. Jeff and I keep 3 files at home now that we're getting rid of all the office stuff. I keep 3 files in my office. It's to do, to scan, to shred. To do is all my RSVPs, all of my bills to pay, all the things that are on auto pay. To scan is once I've done it. Take a picture. To shred, pretty obvious, you get rid of it. 3 files. Paperless system. Works for home, works for work. Okay, so did we all write down our 3 things that we were gonna do when we go home? Right, and how much are we gonna save? When we do those 3 things, do that math real quick for me. How much are you gonna save? Did all of those work for you? I didn't think all of them would work for everybody.
Yeah.
You know? And some of you, like if it was Jeff and we did this math, it would probably be like $28,000.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Our
John,
accountant,
right?
yeah.
And Dawn.
Yeah.
Got it.
Our accountant said we could either write off the mileage or write off gas and repairs. You can't do both.
In order to write off gas and repairs, you have to have mileage.
What?
Yep.
We've never tracked the mileage.
Yeah, so you're one of those that comes to my office and says, oh, my accountant does it for me. So how do you know how much of your gas and repairs was business versus personal? And there's not a
Everything's
single
business.
vehicle in any room, anybody here who's 100% business.
Yeah.
Okay. They're parked overnight. They are never ever borrowed. When your employee's car breaks down, and you're feeling really bad.
Not happening.
Okay. All right. So if that's your case, parked overnight, never, ever, ever used for anything other than the business purposes, then you don't necessarily have to track your mileage, but on the input screen and on your tax return, there's a mileage reading. Not an odometer reading, but the total mileage. Yes, ma'am. I want to be your friend, by the way. Can you teach Jeff your ways? We need to implement QDS. Jeff, that's Sarah. All right.
If you're depreciating your vehicles, you can't mileage, correct?
So that's his question.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's the same thing. You're not going to do the percent, like cents per mile, but you're still going to have to be tracking your mileage, even if you're depreciating. And once you start depreciating, like you bought that brand new truck, oh, this is a favorite. My accountant told me to buy a new truck at the end of the year so I could save on taxes. Okay, so if your accountant did that too. Then you started with depreciation. You can't switch to mileage later. You're stuck with actual for the life of that vehicle. All right, so how much are we going to save? Anybody want to share a number? They did their math. Anybody want to share a number? I heard the 12,000.
$1 million.
I like it. You must have a really big business.
I do.
That's awesome. I want to be your friend too. All right, last thing, I need you to do this. I need you to actually write it down. What are you going to stop today? Maybe it's a transaction, maybe it's a habit. I want you to write it down. Everybody has a pen in their hand. I know we're tired. I know it's the end of the day. I think it's almost 5:30. What are you going to stop right now? Did you already do it?
Is it spending?
And what are you going to start? Stop saving? Okay, start saving. Read profit first. On the plane ride on the way home, earbuds. We like, it took us a while to get through that book because I was very resistant, but loved it. Loved it. All right, so anybody have LinkedIn in this room? Yeah? Can you guys do me a favor? Can you open it up? I want to be your friend. If you don't have LinkedIn, you can open Facebook and be my friend.
I had another question.
Yeah.
Do you encourage all your clients to take all their like digital receipts, all those expenses and attach those each? Okay. I mean, I'm doing that.
If they can't,
Well, the digital ones, maybe not properly.
yeah,
Well,
I can show you.
okay.
Because it shouldn't be tedious. Okay, if we have LinkedIn open, the little friends tab. Little friends tab at the bottom. All right, if you go to the middle, there's a find nearby. This is like one of my favorite party tricks. You have find nearby. Everybody who's in the find nearby can connect. So not just with me, but with each other. We're on LinkedIn. You're on home. Oh, you're on
Taking forever to
All
load.
right, hi Matthew, hi Julianne, hi Jim, hi Michelle, hi Dominic, hi Doug. It's pretty cool, right? Hi Amy.
Where do you find that? How do you find that?
We're going to be over the moon and happy all the time. Because I have my dog. When
Right? Social accounts.
dog. It's American Bulldog.
Right.
I don't know where you said that was fine nearby.
It's in the top middle. Oh, so are you in the app?
Yeah, I just followed you.
But I don't think you're in the app.
That's it.
Hit that guy, and then hit that guy. And you can make friends with whoever's in there. I'll stay in there, so you have a friend. Enable your body.
What's the
Yeah.
benefit of this right now?
Just to connect with your colleagues and I want to be your friend. That's it. If you don't want to be my friend, it's okay. It's totally fine. All right. And then if you're interested in the recording, here's the bit.ly again. So you just go to that website, you give me your name and your email, and I'll send you the links and I'll send you the recording. Assuming it worked, we really hope it worked. And
I took the part out about me not tracking my mileage.
What's that? You're anonymous. I didn't see your name, and you're not on any of the videos.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can't
you're
go
good.
there.
All right. Any other questions? I'm gonna leave that website up.